What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Seven Figures Club podcast, brought to you by many important values like being relentless, controlling what you can control, and being irrationally and unreasonably optimistic, avoiding complaining, whining, criticizing, etc., etc. Hope you're having an amazing end to 2020, and probably as you're listening to this, it's already 2021. So, to dominate 2021, a topic that was in my mind bright and early this morning as I was working out at about 6:30 a.m., the importance of how pushing past our fear to act is really essential to success. How pushing past our fear of acting actually helped save a lady's life who was at my house 14 years ago. Why I pushed past my own fears and regrets to leave a $5 million a year company that I launched out of my kitchen. And how you can systematically push past your fears that are keeping you from making big, bold decisions to achieve the entrepreneurial success that you really want in your life. So let's get going. There are over 32 million businesses in the U.S., and over 90% of them will never break seven figures in annual sales. So how do we as entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs break into that seven figures club? This podcast will relentlessly share the secrets, strategies, and tactics I've used to create 3 multi-seven figures businesses and bring in even more successful entrepreneurs than me to share their inspirational stories and tactics to success. You can create your dream business and life right now. So buckle up and let's go. All right. Hope you guys are having a great 2021 and that you're focused on making turning your dreams into the truth, into reality, that you're putting in the work, but most importantly, creating the vision of where you want to be at the end of 2021. And what you're doing today, this week, this month, and next month that's going to get you closer to achieving that goal where you want to be at the end of 2021. And one of the things that keeps us from being successful and joining that seven figures club and creating businesses that make seven figures plus and earning seven figures of personal income is our fears. Our fears, our insecurities that keep us from pushing forward, from having the audacity and the boldness to actually act and do what you need to do to have a chance, to have a shot at creating that life and that seven figures business that you want. And so interestingly enough, and I don't know why I was thinking about this, but back in 2006 it was, for whatever reason, my wife and I had we had moved into a house, and it was my wife and I, and at the time we had 2 kids, Lucas and Kayla, and there we were hanging out, and Jill's brother's mother and father-in-law, so Jill's brother's in-laws, parents, came to visit, and they needed a place to stay because Donna, Joe was her name, needed to get a heart transplant. And so she needed a heart transplant, and living in rural Idaho where she lived, like she was going to have to come to Salt Lake City to do it because that was where the heart center was at the University of Utah Hospital to be able to get that procedure done. And so she had to be on call at all times and ready to, drive down to the hospital immediately. And so there we all were residing in our house, and they asked in the most respectful, amazing way. We didn't even know them, and we agreed that yes, she could stay with us and get her heart transplanted, and then go through the rehabilitation process of making sure her new heart was going to work, and so forth and so on. And so there we were, and she, the call came at midnight one night, and she and her husband rushed out the door and went down to the hospital, and she got that heart transplant. And of all the crazy timing, we actually were moving from that house to another house that we had bought. And so as we're going through this process, we get all moved over, and we're moved into the new house, and Donna Joe's starting to do better. And 2 or 3 weeks after the heart transplant had taken place, and we had a room and a bathroom all set aside for her in the basement. And we come, Jill, my wife, goes into her room one morning, and she's not well, and she can't control her bowels, and there's a mess everywhere. And so she, tries to help get her into the bathroom, and something is really wrong. And, we're calling her family, and they're like, oh, she's fine. This happened. She just got a new heart. She just needs to rest in bed, as we're kind of explaining her symptoms. And clearly she's not well. She has literally probably 50 pounds of water retention weight that's, holding her down. And we later learned that her potassium levels are just completely messed up. So we're kind of stuck in this process, and we don't know what to do. And so we've got all this fear, like, what do we do? Should we just put her back in bed? My wife literally is cleaning crap off of her so that because she just doesn't have any control of her faculties at that moment, her bowels. And so there we are, stuck in this crazy bubble of fear, like what to do. And eventually we're like, we've got to just get her into our car and run her to the hospital. Like, she could die. I mean, we don't know what's going on, right? And so, but now we have to figure out how are we going to get her to our car, because she's got 50 pounds of water weight. She's dead weight. She can't move. She's not really there. And so, I get to, I have to pick her up. So I'm going to have to, lift her. And she's at this point with all that water weight, easily over 200 pounds. And I'm like, dang, I don't know if I can get her up the stairs and get into the car. But I, get some adrenaline pumping and get warmed up and get her lifted up on my, on my shoulders and take her up and get her into our Tahoe. And Jill runs her to the emergency room, where she codes and damn near dies. And, thank goodness, is able to eventually recover and make a full recovery. Her heart is accepted by her body, and she's able to live another, 10 years before she passes away. Sweetest lady, did our dishes every single day for the 9-10 months that she stayed with us. And that was an interesting experience, but an experience of where we had to push past this fear to do what we knew we had to do, and yet we weren't sure what we should do, but we knew we had to kind of push past it. And I liken it to in business as entrepreneurs, where we can be just absolutely petrified with fear, where we don't know what to do exactly, but we know we need to act. We know we need to take massive action. We know we need to be audacious and bold and do that crazy thing, reach out to all those potential strategic partners that could absolutely change our business. Do that bold $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, Facebook marketing campaign with a funnel we're not sure is going to convert, right? And so I remember a few years ago, with my previous funding company that I'd launched out of my kitchen, it had come to a point, and this company's doing $5 million a year in sales, but we're going the wrong direction. We're not profitable. I've taken on different business partners who don't share my values and philosophies, and I'm kind of in that same position. I'm petrified with fear. What the hell do I do? And it becomes clear, I've got to leave. I've got to leave the business and the company that I started, that I have lost control due to my mistakes and my, passing of control to these new partners that don't share the same work ethic. They don't share the same values. They don't value clients and strategic partners the way I do. And it's clear, I know I've got to go. But at the time, I'm walking away from this business, income, to do something absolutely new that I'm not even sure exactly what I'm going to do. 5 kids, mortgage, all these things we've got to take care of. I'm going to have to get rid of my boat, and that's my pride and joy, to be able to go and wakeboarding every summer. What in the hell am I going to do is what's going through my mind. And I go through the process of writing down the pros and the cons and just making a really well-informed and researched out decision. And I know that looking forward over the next several years, there's no way then I'm going to be able to achieve the levels of success and provide the value to my clients and strategic partners and create the dream business and life that I want without the control that I need, without the right people, the right team. Our values and our culture had just gone down, and I knew that there was no long-term play there, and so I made that bold decision to leave, and it was scary for the first few months, right? I had to borrow from Peter to pay Paul and cover mortgage payments and fall behind on a few things, and didn't make any income. Remember, I did that in August, and it was August, September, October. Didn't have any income coming from the new business until November. So it was like 3-4 months later, draining our savings account. And it's a tough, scary, and even in November, okay, we finally generate some income, but we still lose money, right? Because I still have business expenses, marketing expenses. I've got an employee I'm paying to do all the work that I need her help with so that we can operate as a company. And finally, by December, we finally start to make some profits. And that first quarter of that next year, I'm making substantial more income personally than I was making at my previous company, because I don't have all these partners and I don't have mismanagement, and I'm starting to build a really great team around me. And then we get an office space, and fast forward a few years later, and we're in such an amazing position as a business to really help entrepreneurs with funding, with finance, to change their lives, to offer an opportunity to our strategic partners, business coaches, consultants, funding partners. And all of those things never, ever take place if I don't push past this fear to act and do what I know I need to do, even though it's laced with all sorts of uncertainty, all sorts of things that can go wrong. But I know in my heart and research and meditation and vision that there's no way I can stay and continue doing what I'm doing and get the kind of results that I want. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to have to take this bold, scary, audacious step, go outside of my comfort zone, and start over completely from scratch. And scary at the time. Remember meeting, with our local bishop at our church and getting advice. And he's like, dang, I couldn't do that. He was a sales guy, but he's like, I'm not starting my own business with all that sort of uncertainty and leaving a business that you'd already built. But understanding like it was the right thing, and encouraging me and getting all sorts of support from our neighborhood. It was just a magical time, but really a scary time, a time where there was a lot of stress. I'm starting to lose weight. I'm not sleeping well, but I'm just going to grind it out. I know that I'm on the right track, and I'm going to push past that fear. I'm going to do all the things that I should have done previously but didn't, and now I'm going to do those things. So how can you systematically push past your fears to act towards entrepreneurial success, to take that big, bold step? And it's not always leaving, that job that you have, but it might be taking the bold step of, I'm sorry, honey, husband, wife, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, I can't watch TV with you. I can't hang out with you from 9 o'clock to midnight during pretty much every day, because I've got to work on this side hustle. I've got to work on my 7 figures business plan. I've got to build the infrastructure, the products, the services, the marketing. I've got to do that, right? And I've got to use my time off instead of going on vacation to get this thing launched. And then once it's launched, now I'm going to have to really focus in. We're going to have to, get rid of some of the luxuries of life that we've had as we build this new business. And you're going to have to make that bold decision. And then you're going to have to really get past the fear of being rejected, of not being able to make that sale, and knock on as many doors as possible to bring in those strategic partners, to close that big deal, to get in that big box store, to have your product be able to really sell at a high volume, at a high level. You're going to have to get those business loans and those lines of credit and go through the funding process that we can help you with, or someone else can help you with, in order to create that 7 figures business. And you're going to have to take risks, and you're going to have to put your butt on the line, and you're going to not have guaranteed income, and you're going to have to push past all these fears and control what you can control, and act in such a way that you have micro goals that you're working towards on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that are going to get you to your annual goal and your 3-year goal and your 5-year goal. And you have to understand that things are going to change. The products that you first start, you might have to scrap and create completely new products. That sales presentation that was doing well for a year that's now starting to tank is going to have to be reworked. There's going to have to be new salespeople, new employees that you're going to have to train. And there's all these fears that you will have to push through. But if you do push past those fears and act and take the massive action and not give a damn what anybody thinks. That's so important. You have the naysayers, family and friends that are talking crap behind your back and to you, telling you how you're going to fail. You need to get rid of those people in your life. You need to cut that fat in 2021 and move forward with people who are building, around you that have the right framework and mentality and that are part of helping you achieve your dreams instead of being the naysayers. And it can be hard because sometimes some of the biggest naysayers around you are those friends and family telling you, Leo, you need to go to law school and be an attorney like your dad. You're going to be a great attorney. I'm sure I would have been a great attorney, but that was not my path forward, and that would have been a complete reversal of where I needed to go. And thank goodness I didn't choose that route. And as I look back, pushing past fears, researching, putting together pros and cons lists of making these big, bold decisions are the key to joining the 7 Figures Club, to creating your dream business and life. So if you're in that position, have the guts, have the big huevos to make that decision and do what it takes to succeed and create the life and dream that your family wants, that you need, and that is the whole purpose behind life. At the end of the day, we regret the things we didn't do, not the things we did. So be bold, take massive action, live a life with no regrets, and push past the fear to act. And if you do, I promise, even though success might not be immediate, if you grind, if you're relentless, if you pivot to prosperity, if you have the courage to make those big decisions, you will eventually see the success you want. Are you looking for more 7-figure secrets, content, or even how you can launch your own recession-proof business? Then check out 7figures.com. That's the digit 7, Figures.com, where we share more videos, stories, strategies, funding solutions, entrepreneurial education, and even the secret business type that's recession-proof. Thank you for listening, and if you're finding value in our podcast, please give us a 5-star and invite others to join the club.